how do we use Node.js program to administrate our resources, those are available in the AWS remote server. Okay, before we proceed in this, you supposed to install two different aspects in your system. The first and foremost thing, you supposed to install AWS command line interface version 2 in your system. So this particular page I have already shared with you. If you look at this AWS CLI version 2 for different operating systems are provided here. You can select appropriate operating system and please install in your local system. This AWS CLI provides the command line interface to communicate with your remote AWS server. And similarly, consider we wanted to administrate the complete AWS or AWS resources from our Node.js program. You will have to install AWS SDK for your corresponding programming language. Consider the AWS SDK, it supports many languages. AWS SDK for Java, .NET, JavaScript, Ruby. Okay, so the first one you're supposed to install is AWS CLI, and the second one you're supposed to install is AWS SDK. So currently we are going to use SDK for JavaScript. So in Node.js we are using JavaScript syntaxes, JavaScript to write our concepts. So among this SDK, how do we use AWS SDK? How do we install AWS SDK for our Node environment? Look at this particular link. This particular link highlights a command. How do we install AWS SDK in your local system? So this is Node based SDK, AWS SDK. If you wanted to use AWS SDK concepts, if you want to use AWS SDK, if you want to administrate AWS SDK from your Node.js, this is mandatory. So you have to use a command called npm install AWS SDK. So only these two steps are prerequisite to proceed further. I will reiterate: install AWS CLI, and second one, install AWS SDK using Node Packet Manager. Once you installed both these things, okay, I recommend you to log in your AWS Educate account. So log into your AWS Educate account. AWS account, starter account, select your class, now in this particular place, usually what we do, we click on this AWS console to access AWS services. Okay, but for this particular class, click on the account details. This account details will show you set of settings to access your AWS from CLI. So if you look at this particular pane, it will provide you AWS access key ID, AWS secret access key, and AWS session token. So these things you supposed to set in your local system to facilitate communicating with AWS server. So what is that I'm going to do first place? In my system, I have already installed AWS CLI. So you copy the AWS access key ID, copy this, go back to your terminal, In the terminal prompt, please check whether this AWS is properly installed. So look at this particular command, AWS -version. If you specify this particular command in your terminal or your command prompt or your get prompt, this exactly will give you the what version of the AWS, your current CLI version you are using it. So in the same terminal, you issue the following command, AWS space configure. If you specify the command called AWS configure, it will ask you to enter AWS access key ID. This access key ID is provided in the AWS login. You simply paste it over here. This is the access ID which I have taken it from my AWS login. Press enter. It will ask you to enter AWS secret access key. Go back to your web browser. So second one is a secret access key. Copy this. Go back to your command line prompt and paste it over here and press enter. What is the default region name? From Educate account, you cannot access all the regions which AWS supports. You are restricted with only a specific region. How do I get the region, AWS Educate region? So go to the browser. In the second FAQ, click on the second FAQ. It will clearly show you that only US East 1 is currently supported. AWS supports many different regions, many zones, but with respect to Educate account, we are allowed to use the default region, and the only region is US East 1. You are supposed to specify this region information in the CLI. So by default, if you look at this, okay, the default region is US East 1 is already there. So you need not re-enter it again. You simply press enter. It will take the default value US East 1, okay, and you can proceed. What is default output format? The default output format is a JSON format. So I'm going to have it as a default. So I'm going to press enter. That's all. This particular step completes configuring AWS in the local terminal by using a local terminal or by using a local command prompt. Now I can execute set of commands, AWS commands, through which I can access my resources which is available in the remote system. But my intention of this particular session, how do we use Node.js program to administer our resources? For this, you need to follow one more step. Go back to the web browser and go to AWS console. Go to AWS console. and click on EC2. Click on EC2 and click on the key pairs. Click on the key pairs and click the create key pair. Give the name of your key pair, sample key hyphen or underscore 3. This is my new key name. So for this particular application, you please select a PPK file instead of PEM file. Whenever we create an instance, whenever you wanted to connect the instance from your SSH command, we use a PEM file which is provided by the instance. But in the current case, I want to generate a key file with the format of PPK. PPK is nothing but PuTTY private key. Okay, I don't want to add any tags here for a particular key. I simply specify create a key pair. So this particular step will create a key pair and it downloads the key pair in your local system. Currently this key pair in my downloads. I wanted to copy this particular key pair in my desktop so that my Node.js program is allowed to access. So from downloads, I'm going to keep the key pair PPK file in the desktop. So this is the additional step. Now, using this PPK file, your Node.js program can communicate with the remote AWS server. Now I'm going to take a Node.js program. This particular program helps me to create an EC2 instance in the AWS server. The first and foremost thing, you're supposed to include the module called AWS SDK. So this step, you can include this AWS SDK module only if you install npm space install space AWS SDK in your local system. Otherwise, this particular statement will throw you an error. And the second step, I have configured my AWS from my command prompt by using a syntax called AWS space configure. This is the way you can configure the AWS by using JavaScript. Whatever the existing configurations are available, I'm going to use it. In addition to that, I'm going to update the configuration details. In the AWS configure command, it asks me to enter a secret key ID, so we have entered it. And it has asked us to enter a secret access key, we have entered it. But the problem here, we are currently working on AWS Educate account, where you are supposed to provide the session token to enable the communication between this Node.js program and the AWS remote server. This session token, you cannot set it from the command line. You can set it by using the AWS SDK. So where do I get this command? Where do I get this session token from? Go back to your web browser. Here, go back to your login. Go to your account details. Click on the show. and you will be having your session token here. You supposed to copy this session token, and you are going to give it in the Node.js program. This particular step is very specific for AWS Educate account only. If it is a regular account, this step you can skip it. And moreover, if you say these credentials, AWS access key ID, AWS secret access key, and the session token are valid only for 3 hours. Once this time expired, and once you refresh it, again you will get a 3-hour slot. For that particular slot, if you click on this account details, all the key information will be changed. So please make sure the current key details you are specifying in the Node.js program. So I have copied the session information. I'm going to go back to my Node.js program. Okay, I'm going to set session information here. Moreover, the session key ID and the secret access key ID also I am supposed to set it from here. Account details, show, copy the access key ID and I give it here. Go back, copy AWS secret access key, come back and give it over here. Okay. So the default region is US East 1. So every time you supposed to also update the configuration file. What is the region? Okay, the region we have specified here itself. If you want to separately specify, that is also possible. Okay, you can skip this particular step. And what is that I'm going to do? I'm going to create an EC2 instance from my Node.js program. So if that is the case, you're supposed to create an instance for EC2 class. So how do you create? New AWS dot EC2. For this particular EC2, you're supposed to specify the API version. There are many API versions AWS has already released. The API version which I'm going to use in this particular JavaScript program is 2016 11 15. So this is constant. You need not change this API version for the near future until it releases a new version. So this particular step creates a instance for EC2. But the thing is, whenever you want to create an EC2 instance, you need to provide a set of instance parameters. As I already told you, AWS provides you 300 different configurations of the operating systems. So among 300 different versions or 300 different types, which type you wanted to create? The first and foremost thing what you're supposed to do, what is the image ID you wanted to create? For this, to understand how this image ID works, go back to your Educate account, go to console and just check instance and launch instance. If you look at this, this is the pan. We select a required instance. For every instance, say for example, if you say Amazon Linux to AMI, the corresponding ID is, this is the corresponding ID. AMI-02354E95B39CA8DEC. So this particular ID corresponds to this particular image. Consider you want to create an Ubuntu machine. For Ubuntu machine, what is the ID? So this is the unique ID of the Ubuntu machine. So only this you supposed to copy, okay, the whichever the machine you supposed to create, okay, copy the ID, okay, copy the ID, go back to your Node.js program and give the ID name over here. So this particular ID is Amazon Linux 2 image ID. And what is the instance type you want to create? I want to create an instance type as t2.micro. And what is the key name? The key name is the name you're supposed to give which you have downloaded recently. That is the ppk file which you have downloaded. Go back to your desktop. I have this ppk file here. Copy the file name and give the file name in the Node.js program. You need not specify its extension. This sample key _3 is the key ppk file which I generated by using create key pair in AWS console. So how many instances you want to create? So for minimum count, I want to create only one instance. So I suppose to specify the maximum count also as 1. Once you configure these instance parameters, these instance parameters can be used in creating the new instance. So by using the object which we have created for the EC2, I'm going to create an instance. Say for example here, AWS EC2 API version 16.11.2015. Instead of this entire statement, you can also use this EC2. Just for understanding purpose, I'm just using directly here the class name. From this particular instance, if you wanted to create a set of instance based on your configuration, based on the configuration you set in the instance parameters, you're supposed to execute a member function called run instances. What is this run instances? This run instances will help you to launch specified number of instances. So for this particular run instances, if you look at the parameter are nothing but the instance parameters. The instance parameters includes the image ID, instance type, key name, min count and max count. And for this I'm going to create a promise. It means that the promise will return the success or a failure of the statement, the successful creation of the instance or failure of creating the instance. Consider when the promise returns the successful creation of the instance. By using this instance promise, I can access set of blocks written in .then block. As I already told you, for a promise, you can create two different blocks. One is the instance promise .then and the instance promise .catch. Then block will execute only when the promise returns success. When the instance is successfully created, whatever the content you give inside this then block, that will get executed. Whenever the promise returns failure, the remote system, if it could not create the instance EC2 instance, it will return a negative message, failure message. Whenever you receive a failure message, it will execute a catch block. Consider it returns a success message. It means that you have properly created an EC2 instance in the AWS account. Then it will execute the then block. What is that I have given in the then block? Then block is also a callback function. It returns a data. Data is nothing but whenever you successfully create an instance, the meta information about the instance will be passed to the client by using the data. If you access this data, you can access all the meta information about the instance which you currently created. So what is that I'm going to do? Console.log, it means that I'm going to display in the console wherever you execute this program, whatever the data or response you received from the AWS remote server. The data is actually a JSON format. This is the format we have set by using AWS space configure. In the configuration, it was asked us what is the default format. We set the default format as a JSON. Because of that reason, we are getting the data in the form of a JSON. So before I start explaining the rest of the statements, I would like to execute this program. After the execution results, or based on the execution result, I wanted to explain rest of the program. So the only one thing you should remember, the particular run instances will create an instance on the remote machine. We are using a promise. When it is successfully created, it will execute the then block. If it is failure, it will execute the catch block. So I'm going to go back to my command prompt. I'm going to execute the node program. So node program, how do I execute? Node space, the program name ec2 underscore create instances. Currently I'm not in the desktop environment, so I'm going to go back to desktop. I'm going to make sure all the files are in the same directory. Yes, all the files are in the same directory. I'm going to execute the program node space ec2 underscore create instance. Some error is there. It says the key pair is not found. So I'm going to say chmod 400 sample key underscore 3.ppk. So it says key pair is not found. So I think some problem in the key pair. So I wanted to double check whether the key pair is correct. Sample key underscore 3. I'm going to save it. And wanted to check whether this access key ID are proper. Go to workbench, account details, check, ends with hy2. hy2, this is correct, and ends with QE0, QE0, this is proper. So I'm going to save it. Come back. Yes. Now look at this program. This program properly created an EC2 instance in the remote server. So this is the data. So data is nothing but it is a JSON file. Okay, data is nothing but it's a JSON file. So I wanted to check whether this instance is really created by using AWS console. Go back to your AWS console and check whether the new instance is created. Go to EC2 instance. It says running instance is 1. Look at this. This particular instance is just now created and it is in the initialization stage. Okay. Fine. I'm going to go back to the program. So if I execute the same program one more time, what will happen? It will create another instance. Let me check. I'm going to execute the same program one more time. It should create me another instance. See, it has created another instance. Now I'm going to go back to my console and check whether the second instance has created. See, now the second instance is created by using the program. Okay, now there are two instances are there. So I'm going to go back to my command prompt. So it returns me a data, so a JSON file. As I already told you, this JSON file is nothing but a meta information about the instance which you have created. So I'm going to copy this JSON file. I have a JSON parser, online parser is there. In this JSON online parser, I'm going to paste it. Whatever the output JSON file I have received, I'm going to paste it. I'm going to say process. See, this particular step results me the JSON file. So how do I interpret this JSON file? The JSON object is usually enclosed by using open and closing curly braces. If you are new to this, just understand the JSON objects are usually enclosed in open and closed curly braces. Inside this JSON, inside this data, there are two different objects are there, arrays are there. One is a groups array and second one is an instance array. If I wanted to access these groups, I supposed to access it by using the data. Data is nothing but the overall name of the JSON file, data.groups. If I wanted to access the instances, then I supposed to access data.instances. Consider instances is an array. So why it is an array? In single step, you can create multiple instances. Minimum count we have mentioned it as 1 and the maximum count we have mentioned it as 1, but it is not necessary that 1 and 1 always. It could be 1 and 5. Minimum instances can be 1 and maximum number of instances can be 5. It can be dynamically scaled whenever there is an increase in the load. So in the instances, if you look at this, just press the plus button. So this is the meta information about the instance which we have created. So image ID, this is the image ID we have created. This is the instance ID. The instance ID which we have created is, it starts from I and ends with 6BF. Go to your console and check whether the instance ID is similar. Okay, 6BF. So look at this instance ID which is there in the AWS console. The instance ID is nothing but 6BF. So whatever the JSON file you have received is exactly similar to the instance which you have created in the remote host. Okay. Similarly, you have an owner ID and reservation ID. Now this is the JSON file which we have received it from the AWS remote server. Now I'm going to go back to the JavaScript program, Node.js program. Consider if this particular statement has properly executed, the then block will get executed. Inside this then block, I have just displayed the data. Whatever the JSON file I have received, I'm just displayed it. After that, consider I'm going to access a specific fields from the JSON file. Data.instances of 0. It means that it will return multiple instances. I wanted to access the first instance, that is on the index position 0. But in this program, we are going to create only one instance, so I'm going to directly access the first instance. From the instance, I'm going to access only the instance ID. Then I'm creating a console.log where I'm going to print the created instance and the instance ID. Every instance you create, you can tag it by using a tag name. This is the step we usually skip when we create an instance in the GUI. But according to this, I'm going to create a tag. I will explain this tag in detail, maybe the later point of today. So whatever the instance I am creating, I'm going to tag it with the tag key and the tag value. Again, I'm going to create a tag for a specific instance, and the tag will be properly created, then block will execute. Okay, if the tag is not properly created, then catch block will get executed. So inside then catch, inside then block, I have used another promise. Consider I have created a tag called sample, and the value of the tag is my sample tag. I'm going to go back to my EC2 instance, console. Look at this particular instance. There is a tab called tags. Click on this tags. Look at this tags. The key is sample and the value is sample tag. I have created another second instance as well. The first one, the first instance. For the first instance, the instance ID will be different, and if you go to the tags, consider the tag name is sample and the value is sample tag. Now I have created two instances. Two instances will have a separate instance ID, but these two instances are grouped by using a tag name. It means that if you want to group set of resources by using a common name, we can use the tag name. Now I want to manage these two instances. I can either use the instance IDs or I can use a commonly a tag key name. If I simply refer sample, it represents the two resources, two EC2 instances which we have created. To get a better understanding of this tag, I'm going to open a simple image. This is the image I have downloaded from the AWS documentation. Consider I am going to create two different instances. Consider the instances which I have created now. For a key and a value pair, this is a tag. For a key, we are supposed to specify a particular key name and a corresponding value. Okay, for one instance, I can mention multiple keys. I can specify a owner key and I can specify a stack key. Owner can have some value and the stack can have some other value. For a second instance which I have created, I have two keys, owner key and stack key, with the different values. So what is the use of this? I wanted to retrieve all the stack with a value as test. It means that only this particular instance is retrieved. I wanted to retrieve all the owner key with a value as dbadmin. Both the instances will be accessed. It is easy for us to manage set of resources, group set of resources, by using the key and the value pair, by using tags. Okay, so I'm going to open the terminal. So this particular create instance we have retrieved from the JSON file which we have received from the AWS console, and instance tagged, it means that the sample instance is tagged along with the instance which we have created.